how to build an effective family routine, a family routine that works, not the one you come to say, they are talking about routine. I'm building my routine. I've created routine. It doesn't work. My children don't follow up. They don't. It's not working. No, today we are going to talk about how to actually create it. The factors, I have 7 reasons why your routine is not working. Because I've had parents, we've talked about structure and structure and structure. They still come back asking the same question. They still come back sharing the same challenges. It simply means that the structure they have in place is not working. And if it's not working, it simply means that it's not working. It's not going to give you result. If it's not working, it's not going to give you results. So today we are here to deal with that, so that when you create a structure, it can work. So it is a 30 days creating your family system challenge we've been on for the past 30 days. If you're a visionary parent, you're in the academy, you know how we roll. If you're not a visionary parent, you just join for the purpose of the course, and I'm sure you are getting value. Please leave it in the comment section. Tell us how it has been. If you're not a visionary parent, it's okay. Every Wednesdays we come here and we leave our master class. We leave it open for you to enjoy. One thing I always say to you is that if you take action on what you learn here, it is enough for you to run. If you actually can take action on what you learn here, you can also do very well in your parenting. However, if you want accountability, if you want more detailed breakdown, if you want someone to just give you practical steps, give you everyday tips and all of that, motivations and everything you need, and the extra things you need, then you need to join the academy, because the academy is a place you definitely want to be. The Visionary Parent Academy. Let's not go there yet. Okay, so my name is Enimien Oruebor, and this is Parenting with Enimien Oruebor, and this is powered by the Visionary Parent Academy. Now, the very first thing I want you to do before we even dive into the topic of today is for you to just click the share button. If you have not subscribed, you need to go to this channel and see all the empowering information we have. So if you have not subscribed, you are doing a lot of disservice to your parenting, I tell you, because the free goodies you have here, they are transformational. So go subscribe and copy this link of this video and share to everyone who is the parent, the teacher, and everyone who needs the right information when it gets to parenting. A lot of people are still super ignorant. This is one of the reasons you share. Yesterday I was talking to a teenager. She was telling me how a particular teacher I know uses endearing words to address girls, and she went further to tell me, the teacher was even asking one of my friends out. I'm like, is this teacher, are you okay in this time and age? It simply means that teacher is completely ignorant. He doesn't realize that he can even just be recorded. He doesn't realize that what he's doing is not right. A married teacher. So very many people are still living, they are still wallowing in ignorance. It is why you need to copy this link and share, so that you will be saving some people. You will be saving them from themselves. Because not just the teacher, it just came to my mind and I thought to share that. A lot of parents are still completely ignorant. You need to save them from we are talking about why your routines, they don't produce the result you want them to produce, and what you can do. So I'll be reason to make sure your routine. The very first one, why your routine, your expectations are unrealistic. Your schedule overload. Your routines are overload. Your expectations are unrealistic. One of the things very many parents do that I always say to parents is that they go online, they see something, a recommendation, they just grab it and they are running with it. Do you sit down to check your own reality? You don't sit down to check your reality. So if you don't check your reality, your routines, all the structure, the things you are putting in place, they will not work. They will not work. Now, imagine a situation where a parent, you want to say, okay, I've created a time for my, because routines are generally things you do when. That's structure. Structure is things you put in place. When, how, where, when, who, of the things, of how you run your home. The when, the how, the where, the why. Of course, you have to teach the why to your children, to your family members, so that you can convince them to take it seriously. So it's all of that about the routine. So for very many parents, they don't have all these things, because before you even set your routine, you have to understand your factors. I was going to use school as an example. A parent will say, okay, I'll set time for 7:30 for my children to do homework every day, and you don't get home until about that. And you have toddlers, you still have children you need to sit down and do homework with. At the end of the day, you are not able to do it. Maybe you are, that is when you are cooking, a lot of things are happening, you are not able to do it. So very many times your children will not go back to school. You will say, oh, I actually set a routine for it. Another typical one is, parents, your child is still a toddler, right? And you know their attention span doesn't go stretch beyond 15 minutes, and you are putting reading for 1 hour. Hello, it is not realistic. So you get frustrated after all the things you are doing. You've put a structure, you want them to read, you've even set alarm for them to know reading time, for them to know stop time. Your toddler cannot stay seated for more than 15 minutes reading. It's not possible. I remember back then when I wanted to introduce my son. Then my son was my daughter was still very small, so my son, it was about my son. I wanted to have him read. I kept saying, oh, children read. Of course, I know the importance of reading, but I was not so I had not started buying books then. Even before that, I used to buy books, even when I was pregnant. You know how pregnant for the first time can be. So I bought books and all of that. Before he was able to read, those books, they were torn and trashed. So when I now wanted for him to start reading, I was in the market one day, I saw someone hawking books. That was why I just bought the story books. I brought them home and he was not reading. I was not like, I was always upset with him that he wasn't reading. It was not until one day then there was an after school. I used to drop him. So the school bus would drop him at the after school. So when I close from work, I'll go pick him up. It was one day I got to the after school and I saw the woman's shelf, very beautiful, colorful books and I wasn't like, how did you get these books? At once, I knew those books would do the magic. So I asked her how she got the book. She told me that is why, if you listen to me, I'm always quick to recommend used books. I'm always quick. It's not deliberate, except I have to rewire my brain and to start saying no, new books, because it was used books. She now told me that these books are imported and they are super expensive. So what she does is she goes to one woman somewhere, and then when the woman brings the book, she now picks the ones that are super clean. They're as good as new. So that's how she get to cut costs. So she get to buy books. So wow, that was it. So that's why I'm always quick to say use books, because that was how I started really introducing my children to books. So the first time I remember, it was my son is 13 now. This was maybe when he was 2+ or 3+ or thereabouts. So I actually went to look for the woman. I think about with 4,000 naira, I bought a lot of books back then, over 20 books, because she was selling some of 300, 500 and all of that. I bought a lot of books, and it was not easy because they were pictorial books and just small text, a lot of picture. It was easy. So my son, when I said it was time for reading and all of that, he was so fascinated. Why? Because the way I created his reading now became realistic. Unlike before, that I was expecting him to come and read. Those books they sell, if you're in Lagos, those books they sell. It's just normal story book, a lot of text, black and white text, no color, nothing, and the text will be tiny. When the child picks it, a less than 5-year-old child picks it, and the grammar, big grammar. So what was I even thinking? What was I even thinking? So when the child sees it, the child will just get like some uninteresting things. So that was it, because it was not realistic, so it didn't work. So if you're a parent, you need to sit down. Your routine must be realistic. For example, you are going to work. The time you go to work. You can't say, oh, I'm going to work by 7 o'clock, and you are now waking up 7:30, or you wake your children up. For very many parents, they still tell me, oh, we've created a routine, but it's not really working for me. I still see myself. I've designed my structure in such that I want us to be going to work every day by 7:20. We still don't make it. I'm like, you want to go to work by 7:30, so 7:20, you want to go to work and drop your children off at school by 7:20. When do you wake up? This is what we talk about. Consider your factors. Someone says that's the time they get to school. It doesn't have to be your time. You have to look at your factors. Okay, when do you wake up? When does your child even go to sleep? Because your child needs to sleep very well to be able to wake up. Not that for some parents, you are waking your child is not standing up, so waking up, you just leave them, let them sleep some more hours or some more minutes most of the time. Now, did your child sleep on time? You need to calculate, put all those things into consideration. How many hours does your child need to sleep a day? So when does your child go to bed? When is it supposed to wake up? If your child is not feeling well, once you know, okay, they have slept enough, you wake them. That time they wake up, you get to go and do your chore and all of that. You can't say, oh, you want to go to school by 7:20. That's how you want your routine to function. And by 7 o'clock, you are still waking your child. You are still trying to wake your child. It is not going to function. Or you don't have the, should I say, confidence or courage to wake your child, and you expect, then you are not nagging, you are yelling, you are all over the place, and you are running late, Now, structure is supposed to help you take away that yelling, supposed to help you take away that nagging, that smacking. That is one of the functions of structure. And I tell you, if you have a good structure in place, it will do it for you. So the first thing you want to do, make sure your routines are realistic. To make it realistic, you need to sit down and calculate, check your factors, check your own reality. You are not using somebody else's reality. No, check your own reality. I remember when I moved to this place. There was a particular school I wanted to register my children. They were like, oh, the school is a very big school, it's a good school, it has Lagos standard and all of that. I was really interested in the school. Even till now, I'm still like, I wish. However, the school is so far from my house. The school is very far from my house. And I sat down and I was asking myself, I am new here, for the love of Christ. And I've been told several times that this place is hot. In a way. So if I register my children in that school, it simply means every day I'll have to wake up early, maybe 7 o'clock, or before 7 o'clock, I will drive them down, and I'll still have to go and pick them up at the close of school. Okay, it may not really be a big deal like that. Hey, the school, according to them, is far, is on a lonely path. I don't speak the language. A lot of factors are just against me. So is it worth it? So if this place is sometimes hot, as they say, what if, God forbid, on one day I meet the heat they are talking about? What do? I don't even speak the language. I don't even know corners, how to navigate my ways. I wouldn't know how to escape or anything. What will I do? So when I consider those factors, I said, nah, it is not realistic for me to put my kids in that school. So no matter what anybody says, oh, maybe they have their own, you know how people can be when they make recommendations, they will not have their own idea. Maybe this is the reason she did not. They will not, no matter what their ideas are, even if they try to project it, I know, because I'm checking now my reality. My reality determines the choice I make, so that is it. So you need, before you set your routine as a parent, you must understand your factors, your reality. Even before you even set goals for you as a family, for your children, you must understand your reality. It is not everything you see, you copy. So to set your routine, check, what time do you go to work? You want to check your routines. You want to set your routines. Let's say morning routines. You want to set evening routines, afternoon routines, back from school and evening routines. You want to ask yourself, okay, what time do you go to work? What time do you come back? What is your own daily activity usually like? What about your children? What time do they go to school? What time do they come back? How do they function in school? Is it a school that allows them to play a lot? Is it a school that kind of box them? They are not allowed to play. There are some schools that someone told me, oh, I removed my child from a particular school because the school, they play too much. All they do in the school is play. Is it that kind of school? Is it a school where they just lock them inside, they don't allow them, they don't move? I've had that schools before. If you have a child, maybe you say in this particular school they don't allow them move, you can almost be sure that when your child comes home, your child has enough energy stored inside. They have even children that go to schools, they allow them to play and all of that. They still have enough energy, let alone a child who was not allowed to play. They have a lot of energy, except the child is the super calm child. Otherwise, the child is sanguine, they have a lot of energy. So they are going to come back home and you are going to realize that, you just put your routine, come back home, do X, Y, Z, may not be so realistic. So you have to okay, get back home in the next 30 minutes, let in the next 30 minutes, be free to play, be free to do what you want to do. You create your routine like that. Then you see how some children say, okay, when you get back home, children that thrive on structure naturally, they are structured people. They just want to get things done. They don't like wasting time. If you have those kind of children, you want to say, okay, as soon as you get back from school, do like this, put your uniforms away, wash your coolers, wash your socks, just create a simple thing for them. That is it about routine. You must make sure your own you must check out your factors. Make sure your expectations are realistic. If they are not realistic, you are going to struggle with it. Another thing that happens to parents is that parents, they load children with too many. You want a routine. Like I've shared this several times. There was one time I saw on Facebook a routine somebody shared for their children. It said the structure. It's not even realistic. 6 to 7 do this was a holiday routine. 6 to 7 do this, 7 to 8 do this, 8 to 9 do this. At the end of the day, even you, the parent, you will not be able to follow through. It's not even, and it will not be able to follow through because it's too choked, it's too overloaded. No break. You are a human being. Your child is a human being, for the love of Christ. And there are some, depending on your child's temperament, on the age. Your child, some children want to test boundaries. Some children, they just don't like that. They don't like that really, really structured, rigid life. They want a bit of flexibility. So what do? You now end up, because routine and structure, they're supposed to make you not yell. They're supposed to empower your children. So you will not end up yelling. Because imagine your child is supposed to now, okay, it's football time over, and your child is still playing football. You now go and start saying, stop playing football, you then start yelling. Because your routine is overloaded. No, it doesn't have to be so. Another thing that happens to very many parents is because you expect your child to be perfect. When you start with your system today, you just expect your child to get into it. See, routine, structure, they are a teaching tool. You are using them to teach your child. I was listening to a message today, and the author said, of course, is a common knowledge. He said, repetition builds habits. It's a common knowledge that repetition builds habits. That was what the author said, and it's also a common knowledge. Routine is about repetition. That is why it's about structure. Structure, like I always say, you have a structure. I always like to liken it to a house, a building. It is there. You cannot move it. That is what structure is. It is there, So how, when, where, it is permanently there. So because it is there, the children will repeat it over and over and over and over and over again, and they will get into the habit. It's just like you have a family, you have a home. You say it's dining table is where you must eat compulsorily. Guess what? The children see that is your lifestyle from day one. They grow up that my parents eat on the dining table, our family eats on the dining table. Even when they are young, they can't. You want them to feed themselves. You put them on the dining table. You give them the food there. They eat there. So as they grow older, they want to sit down, because children, yes, you put them on the dining table. After a while, they don't want to sit on the dining again. They want to sit down, and feed themselves on the chair. So your child realizes, you don't even need to tell them. They know that is the system. That is what it's supposed to be. Even when they go outside, except you have to tell them it's not what is obtainable in every homes. When they go out, that is what they will expect. I listened to someone one day, and he said when they are children, they were talking about parents and roles of parents in the family. The teacher was telling the child that mothers go to the market and cook. And the child says, no, fathers also go to the market and cook. Why? Because that is what is obtainable in his house. That is what he has seen in his house. That is what routine and system do. But however, one thing about parents is they just expect, you want to create a routine today. You expect your child to just get used to it. It is teaching. Routines and structures are a teaching tool. They're helping your child build habits. And teaching, we all know that teaching is not automatic. It takes time. So you don't expect perfection at the moment of execution. You don't expect perfection immediately. It takes time. So you have to remind your child. It is why I tell parents, use something like accountability amongst your children. Have rotational leadership. Have alarm system. one of the things I use for a very long time for my kids is alarm system. If you still check my phone, we still have the alarm system. I didn't delete it, but my kids are just used to certain things. They know what to do and at certain time. So the things that are super important, they know what to do. For example, we talked about fixing your room. You need to fix your room once a day. It is compulsory. So when they were drawing their routine, when are you going to fix your room? In the morning or in the evening? Let's talk about it being realistic now. Now, in the morning, I remember my daughter saying in the morning she'll fix her room in the morning. I said, okay, that's fine. However, you have to look at a lot of things. In the morning, you are rushing to go to school, right? In the morning, you have your sweeping chore, your cooking chore to do. So are you sure it's okay for you to sweep or cook and still tidy your room and bathe and all of that? What do you think? Or in the evening, when you get back from school, about past 4, you have from past 4 till probably 8:30 before you go to bed. That time, maybe you have your uniform to and socks to wash. You wash your socks. You just prepare dinner. Most times I prepare dinner. You just come and eat dinner, or on a few times you prepare dinner. You have your revision to do. You have your self-development and all of that to do. You realize that you have a lot of time in the evening. So when are you going to do your fixing of your room? And they said, okay, makes sense. I didn't have to force them. I just showed them what it is. If you want to fix your room in the mornings or in the evenings, it's up to you. So in the mornings, is it super realistic? Will it not pressure you? In the evening, is it going to pressure you? Which is better for you? And they chose in the evening. I said, okay, if you are choosing in the evening, what time would you want to fix your room in the evening? So let's look at all the activities you do when you get back from school. We looked at all the activities and okay, what time, where are you putting your fixing your room? And actually put their fixing their room, I think 7:40. No, not 7:40. They're supposed to do their homework between 6:30 and 7:30. Okay, I think it's 7:40. I don't remember. After bathing, just go to the bathroom, bathe, you come back, you fix your room, and you now do your self-development and all of that. They put it there. We had to set alarm so that they would remember. However, remember we put it because we are doing our revision in the family lounge. So when they now go and bathe, after doing their homework, they go and bathe. After bathing, as they come out from their bathroom, they know, oh, it is time to fix the room. They fix the room. That is it. It was more realistic. So initially, I had to set alarm to always remind them. So alarm had to be my voice to say, okay, it's time to fix your room. The alarm, even till now, they know what to do because after their homework, they just go and bathe. After bathing, they fix their room before they can now do any other thing they want to do before they go to bed. However, the alarm is still on my phone. That still reminds them. So what many parents do is you just expect your child to just get a handle of it the day you say it. No, it doesn't work. It is why you cannot parent without patience. Parenting and patience, they are 5 and 6. For you to parent effectively, especially if you're an intentional parent, you must learn to be patient. So many parents, they want perfection. Oh, they want it now. Nah, it doesn't work. You must learn to be patient. Now, this is the first one, unrealistic expectations. I hope you've learned. If you are following me, please put in the comment section what you have learned. Also, give me a like, anything, just a reaction. Let me know that someone is here getting empowered, someone is learning, and I'm not talking to myself. Okay, so first one is unrealistic expectation. So you have to fix that. I've shared with you how to fix that unrealistic expectation. Second, I said understand your own factors. And again, I said don't be a perfectionist. Be patient. Your children will come, as long as it's a structure, you repeat it every day, your children will learn. They will come and you'll be proud. So don't put the pressure, because it is when you are not forcing, you are not nagging, you are not lecturing up and down, that is when they become resistant, as it becomes a burden. It becomes like, what is the big deal self? You are forcing me. So make sure you remove that first. Now, the next thing is lack of energy and mental load overwhelm. This one happens a lot. I have a parent who currently struggles with this one. She does a lot of things. By the time she gets home, she is literally like tired. She can't function well. So the house is just almost chaotic. No matter how much she sits down to create a routine, create a structure, the house is almost always, it's not an emergency. Oh, thank you, ma. No matter how much she tries to create a routine, the house is almost always chaotic. And the reason is because, but she leaves very early, she comes back super tired. I know one thing about what that happens is when you say, okay, my children, today we have a meal plan, let's follow the meal plan. You come back home and you are tired. You cannot go follow the meal plan. You just want a quick food. Oh, please go and put noodles on. Let's make noodles. Force is not a good in parenting. Thank you so much, ma. And you say, let's make noodles. Is that noodles? Because you are tired. Even though you had, okay, a meal plan, but because you are always overwhelmed, you are tired, at the end of the day, you are not able to follow your routine. Now, your routine is supposed to take away the nagging and the yelling. You say, okay, homework time. Let me help my children do homework. Let me assist them or supervise them in their homework. Because you are tired, you realize you are nagging, you are whining. You end up doing the homework for them instead of allowing them do. So workload. When you have too much workload, you may not be able to implement your routine. I have parents. This is one of the major issues parents have. Too much workload. You wake up, you go out, you come back, you are tired, and and your children, they are just, because they are children, they are impulsive, they are all over the place. You are tired, so you can't even just stick to your structure. So many things you plan to do for the day. Even, okay, 10 before bedtime, we'll have 10 minutes read together. You won't be able to do that because you are just tired. So you need to learn to create. That is why you need to delegate. You need to find a way to work-life balance. As a parent, it is super important that you are not always burned out. You are not always burned out, because if you are always burned out, it will always come in the way of your parenting. You will not be able to be consistent, because is it when you are tired, you are stressed, you now start thinking of something, you will not be able. You just want to relax. Your children want something that that, okay, you didn't plan. It's not, you want to be like, okay, I want to be consistent in my use of snacks. For example, I don't want my children to just feed on snacks all the time. I want to give them proper food. Let them take snacks to school once a day. I want to establish it. I want them to know that they only take snacks to school once a day. I want to establish that. So no matter what, it's once a day I give them snack. Then you get back from work, you are super tired. You are even thinking, how can you even stand up to go and microwave the soup you have in the freezer? How can you put rice on fire to boil? The next thing, mommy, can I go and take? And that, guess what? Because you have said go and take, you are giving your child liberty. Tomorrow, even when you are not tired, it is, mommy, that is what I want. Because the other day you defaulted. So today your child is going to cry. They are going to disturb. They are going to test your limits until you give in. So burnout, overwhelm can come in the way of your routine. It will make your routine not to be effective. So what you want to do is to learn work-life balance, create it, learn to do what, if you can delegate as much as you can. Have people assist you and delegate. If maybe, you can really not delegate, the work you are doing is such that you cannot delegate, then find a way. What can you do really? What can you do to reduce that burnout? What can you do to reduce work overwhelm? It's super important, because it will always come in the way of your parenting. You are not a superhuman. Even an elastic has a limit. There's a limit to what you can take. If you are full, if you have reached your limits, then you are likely going to be spontaneous in other areas of your interactions or dealings with people or things. So the next one, the third one, is deep-rooted beliefs and resistance to structure. A lot of people, we have a lot of deep-rooted belief that the way we were raised, programmed, a lot of things. Even sometimes, your temperament plays a role. I remember someone telling me, I beg, I did all this when I was growing up. What did I get from it? A lot of things that were programmed in us when we were growing up. Now, let me give you one practical example. One of the things parents do that make your structure not to be effective. Because for your structure to be effective, your child has to play along, right? One of the reasons your child cannot play along is because you are very random. I remember back then growing up, when my dad enters the house, the next thing he tells you, get out, go and read. Get out, go and read. You are playing, he sees you playing, get out, go and read. They were his favorite lines, I dare say. Now here is it. Very many parents still do that. When it comes to structure simply means there is a time, place for everything. You just don't come and say your child, go and do the dishes. Like I just told you my children about fixing their room. It is you just want to nag. You will end up always nagging. When they have told me, okay, I'll fix my room before we go to bed every night, that is it. So it simply means if they sleep in their room, I've told them the only thing they need to do probably just stretch your bed out. Because you're in a hurry in the morning, stretch your bed. Make sure you just stretch your bed. Then by the time if you come back, your shoes, you have your room messed up, it is not an emergency. So I don't have to go there and be nagging. So we've already agreed. By the time they are leaving for school the following morning, because they fixed their room when they got back from school, by the following morning, they are not doing anything in the room. They are not dancing in the room. So they have bathed and then they fix their room. It simply means they're not bringing out their clothes or anything. So by the following morning, their rooms are tidy. So when they go to school, their rooms are not tidy. I always tell them, you will hire me. So I explain that before you go to, by the time you are going to school, when you go to school, I check your room is tidied. So that is it. So not just every single time you walk into your child's room, you are nagging, spontaneous, So some parents, because of the deep belief that came from the way they were nurtured or just one, how do I call it? There's something I always call it, one spontaneous thought or experience, Every time is nagging. You get to your child's room, you are nagging all the time. Like I told you about dishes. In my home, for example, we don't pile dishes. So everyone, you eat and you wash your dishes. You eat, you take your dish to the kitchen and you wash it. That is it. Now, this is because I don't like my kitchen messed up. Now, so we take turns to be in the kitchen. So the person in the kitchen is the one. So after the person in the kitchen is the one in the kitchen. So, and I've taught my kids that clean up after yourself immediately. So if you're in the kitchen, for example, you are cooking spaghetti. As you take your spaghetti from the pack, put it in the pot. Take the spaghetti out, the pack of the spaghetti, trash it. As you are slicing your pepper, I always tell them that, see, you don't leave the kitchen. You can't be cooking in the kitchen and go outside maybe to play or to do anything. No, because that food may burn anytime. So what do? Except maybe you are boiling rice, you know how long it will take. You are boiling beans or things like that. You can say, okay, let me quickly go and bathe and all of that. Even at that, you are still conscious of the fact you are cooking. So I tell them one thing that will keep you in the kitchen while you are cooking is to clean up. So while you are cleaning up, it will keep you in the kitchen. So you will not have any business outside. Maybe you are boiling rice, for example. You've washed your rice in the sink. The next thing is to take the sponge and water, clean up the sink very well. You want to cook maybe sauce, you've cut your vegetables, just have them put away immediately. That way you are doing everything you are doing in the kitchen. So that settles that. So anyone in the kitchen in my home is the one that tidies up the kitchen. So when they are cooking, they are tidying up the kitchen. So there is no that structure. So there is no need for you to say, oh, you have piled up the plates, you are coming back later to wash the plates. Now, but I have families who don't wash their dishes immediately they eat. They pile up plates. So what do? They talk to their children. So let's talk about it. When do you want to do the dishes? Want to do the dishes before you go to bed or first thing in the morning before you go to school? It's up to you. Remember, in the morning it may be chaotic. You may be rushing. So you may not really have the time to do your dishes in the morning. So you do your dishes in the evening. So if you pile all the dishes from morning till evening to do them at once, you may end up being overwhelmed because there'll be a lot. You'll be pressured. So what do you want to do? You want to make sure, okay, after every meal, you do the dishes that follow. So that way you are not coming to nag. You are not coming to nag. For some parents, what they do is every single time they are nagging. You go to your child's room, you are nagging. Okay, I was talking about book again. Now let's look at reading, for example. You have time to read. For some parents expect their children to read 24 hours. Is that even realistic? It is not realistic. Reading should, routine should not be rigid but flexible. Thank you, ma. Make it flexible. It's not even realistic. Every time you see your child, you want them to pick a book and read. How about now? Is that how you do? No, is that how you do? Or is that how you used to do? Let me speak social media English. Is that how you used to do? No. Structure is routine is you have a time to read. You get back from school, you read. You do your, maybe you get back from school, after XYZ, you do your, many children, if you are even intentional in your parenting, your child will not wait for you to tell them to do homework. Nah, they will not wait. Once they have a homework, they will not wait for you to tell them to do their homework. That is it. Even your young children, toddlers, they will not wait. You will see as soon as they get back from school, they are bringing their homework. Mama, homework. They are bringing their homework. So if you have children, you have been nurturing self-responsibility. You are not going to tell them to do their homework. Nah, you will not tell them. So you have to create a special time to, okay, read. Let me share something practical. I was going to make a video of this and share on Facebook. There's a boy that has been with me for about, it should be 2 months now, you know. It wasn't really planned like that. The mom said she was traveling for a week, so the boy should stay, and she got there. She was like, okay, she had some extensions and all of that. Initially, the boy used to come and greet my children all the time before. So reading was a problem. Nah, read care. Nah. You always see him, let's play hide and seek, every time. I will tell him, no, in this house, you don't wake up from morning to night and be playing hide and seek. It's not possible. You don't wake up from morning to night and be playing. Nah. There are things we do. There are times we do things. Okay. So what happened? Recently, even today, he was telling me in the car that, I read very well in school. I read a lot in the school. Even when my teacher says somebody should stand up to read, I'm very excited. I'll just stand up and go and read. And I notice he has been reading a lot. Even though it's small storybook, it doesn't matter. That is the first step. So what happened? It is the structure we have in our home that has influenced him. One of the things I say to my children, you don't wake up in the morning and be playing. It's not possible. So I tell them, you wake up in the morning and you get responsible, you get your chores done. After that, when you are now about waiting to go to school, you can start playing. Maybe I'm one that is going to drop you. I haven't had my bath or anything. You can play, you can do anything you want to do. Now, instead of play, most times my kids, you see them picking some storybooks they have read before. They'll sit and be reading it. Or see the ones that want to draw. So when he now realizes that nobody is playing with him at that time, he also has learned. I see most mornings now, he picks one storybook. The other, yes, they was asking, give me sugar girl. He's 11. He's in grade 4. It doesn't matter the kind of book he's reading. He's just making effort. Now, if the parent, by the time he goes back, the parents, they want to build on that. Super easy for them to build on that. While he reads, they still buy him those kind of books. They can now increase it a bit. Let's say they can now buy him other books that they really want him to learn. They feel will benefit him. They can just, read 2 pages a day, read 3 pages a day. Before you go back to that, then it's not a chore. It's not punishment. It's not just wake up, go and read all the time. Another thing that actually taught him to read is, my kids, they go to sleep early. They go to sleep 8:30. It used to be 8 o'clock night, 8:30. So when it's time to sleep, you go to bed. Whether you feel sleepy or not, you go to bed. So because you don't feel sleepy, you are not going to be disturbing everybody. So you find a way to actually make yourself sleep. And one of the things they do is to read themselves to sleep. So they get all these leisure books and read themselves to sleep. He learned from that. Most nights I see him reading, except maybe Fridays, Saturdays, when we don't necessarily sleep early, they can sleep a little later because it's weekend. Every other day, every single day of the week, I see him reading in bed. That is the power of routine. I see him reading in bed, reading himself to sleep. 2, because that is the routine he met in this house, the structure. So he cannot come in the night, it's time to sleep. You are jumping about, you are disturbing. You have two options. We are not fighting, we are not forcing. It simply means that you still have a lot of energy. You want to play, right? And now you will just open the door, go and play. When you are done playing, you've exhausted your play, you open the door again. Don't let mosquitoes enter. You come inside again and you come and sleep. It's nothing. So, but if you must stay inside, it's a bedroom, you lay on the bed. So simple things, they know it. Time to go to bed, the routine is time to go to bed is 8:30. So they are in bed, they are not ready to sleep. You find a way to make yourself sleep, and that is it. So some parents, what they do is because of that way they were raised, like my dad too. My dad back then, every time he must be reading. And when I started parenting, that was one of the mindsets I had. Go and read, go and read, go and read. Yeah, even though I studied psychology and I knew I could do better. I knew I needed to do better. But then that mindset, until I started realizing that how I needed to be more visionary in my parenting, So you don't. Okay, sorry. I was trying to. Okay, so you need to fight or work on those your deep-rooted belief system that sabotage your parenting. And yes, like I said, one other one is that's how you grew up. Like my daddy, go and read, go and read. You grew up now, you're telling your children, go and create a structure. There is time to read. So if your child is playing, it's only when your child is playing when it's time to read, you call their attention to it. Remember, you have, like my children, when they set their goals, they set spiritual goals, like, okay, they are going to read the Bible, maybe a chapter or 10 minutes, study the Bible a day. So in the evenings, I remember when they set, I ask them, what time are you going to read the Bible? Deepen your relationship with God. They said in the evenings before bedtime. So I remind them, in the evenings before bedtime, deepen your relationship with God. So it's a reminder. You won't see me every single day and telling them, go and read, go and study the Bible. No, because I know that it becomes a broken record. So it's annoying. It is counterproductive. So you see those mindsets. Now, why some people, they don't believe in structure because they were raised in chaotic home. A lot of people feel they turned out well. My parents didn't necessarily have structure. It doesn't matter. Like the other day, I went somewhere, I saw a child, it was to 9. He just finished bathing. I got there about past 8. I met him bathing. After bathing, he just wore his uniform. He was running to school at 9. And then he got to the school gates, and I don't know, I can imagine he got to the school gate, he was flogged, or he was told to pick litters or something. So a lot of people grew up in a very chaotic home. One of the things I tell them in the Visionary Parents Academy is that everything, it's interwoven. It has ripple effect. You see that child waking up early in the morning and waking up. What happened to, why does he have to be pressured? What about having the child learn punctuality, how to wake up early, how to do what he's supposed to do early? Some people believe, we didn't have to do this when we were growing up. Do you know that one of the things I realized that a lot of us could have been on the global stage, but we didn't have skills. I'm speaking for myself. We didn't have skills. A lot of things I know now, even the things I still know now that I still don't have the mental capacity, the mental strength to pursue. If certain skills were nurtured in me from start, I may have been on the global stage. That is the truth of the matter. A lot of us, we are limited by our the foundation we had. So you don't say, the average person, because we live for survival, you can work, you can earn money, you can buy a few things, you are just living for survival. You feel, I turned out well, so what is the big deal? That mindset, we didn't have a structure in my home. Or some people, they say, we had a structure. It was like I grew up in a barracks, or I went to a boarding school. It was so tough, it was so rigid. I don't want that. Like a mom asked me all the things I did as a child. Where did I wash my clothes by myself? How did it, so what, as in, what does that matter now? How is it helping me today? Another one told me that somebody was telling her that once in a while let your children enter public bus, and she said all the public bus I entered as a child, where did they amount to, where did they amount to? I beg, my children will not enter public bus. No, I will always drive them. No, I don't have time for public bus. Those kind of growing up, they actually have made a lot of us rigid to change, rigid to learning. So what you want to do, I've told parents several times in the Visionary Parent Academy, if they are not empowering, you need to go back to, that is why we have the material Breaking the Parenting Circle. I don't know if you've seen it. If you're in the Visionary Parent Academy, you definitely have it, because Coach Junadi shared it the other time. When I mentioned this, she shared it. So you definitely have it. If you're in the Visionary Parent Academy, you don't have it, go to our resource bank. Go to our resource bank on Telegram, and it is there. I'm very certain she posted it there. Go and get it. To examine yourself, what were those limiting thoughts? What were those things? Or rather, what are those limiting thoughts? What are those things that have been programmed in you during your childhood that you have come with them? Sometimes you don't realize they are sabotaging you. Sometimes you don't even know they are sabotaging you, when the truth is they're actually sabotaging you. Look at those characters in you. Look at those behaviors that you exhibit every day that are not necessarily empowering. Some of them you just dismiss. They are no big deals. Some things, they are really big deals, but you don't realize they are big deals. Some are big deals, but because you don't pay attention to their effect, you don't realize they are big deals. And I always say one thing to parents: the fact that you are getting away with something doesn't mean your child will get away with something. Some parents, they spend their time, you gossip all day. That is what you do. Your children are learning from you. They are gossiping too. You think it's not a big deal because it's only once or twice that you've been caught, and you probably have fought, probably have argued about it, you've denied, only once or twice. Your children will learn from you. By the time they take it out, maybe that they are gossiping will be global level gossip that will snag them big time. So what am I trying to say? Go back to your childhood programming and do away with them. Go back to your childhood programming and make sure that, hey, they are not in charge of you. Make sure you are in charge of yourself now. It is not those things that were built in your brains when you were small that are in charge of you, but rather you are the one in charge of yourself. If you are following me, leave a comment, and of course leave a reaction, a like, a love, a reaction. Put your favorite emoji. Let me know that you are following me. This is brought to you by the Visionary Parent Academy. Okay, that said, another reason why your routine may not be effective is the all or nothing mindset. Some parents are so rigid, like you are super rigid. Now, because you are rigid, it is tough for your child. Many times when you are super rigid, your child becomes sneaky. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma. Your child becomes sneaky. Many parents are super rigid. There is no room for flexibility. Someone once told me that even when the child is sick, the child goes to school. I say, excuse you, your child is sick. Why does your child go to school when your child is sick? I don't get you. And she said, no, I don't want to create the impression that you can have a reason to miss school. Oh, really? So I asked her, how are you going to teach your child work-life balance? Because the work they have now is school. That is their hustle, is school. They don't have the work they do. They don't have the business they do. They don't have the trades they learn. It's school. So how are you going to teach them? Your child is sick. Your child still goes to school. Because some parents, you actually are so rigid. Some parents think that if you break the routine once, you have failed. So because of that, if something happens once, you have failed. I've had parents talk about, they have failed in parenting. Why? Because of something small that happened. No. Your child is a human being. You, as a parent, you are a human being. There are times that, today, the reason I literally dragged myself, you can see that we started 12:15 instead of the 12 o'clock. Because I literally dragged myself. And I remembered I've been teaching my children about moving away from your comfort zone. And I told them that moving away from your comfort zone, it means giving yourself extra push. which means that when when you don't feel like it, do it. When you don't feel like it, do it. That is you pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. You don't feel like it, do it. You feel, oh, it's time to stop it. Do one more, do two more. So today I had a lot of reasons not to come online. I had a lot of reasons because I went out to get some things. They are pending a whole lot, and I have not been too strong, really, a bit under the weather. I told myself, nah. But eventually I told myself, nah. I need to, when I tell my children, how did your day go? And they are telling me how their day went, I also need to tell them how I was able to push myself, because they are going to see the bag of my drugs that I got. So I'm also going to tell them how, despite going out to buy all these things, all these drugs for myself, I'm going to tell them how I pushed myself, But then I still could have said, let me, if not for the topic I'm teaching them, the thing I'm teaching them, I probably would have just relaxed. But I needed the experience to be able to explain to them too how I push myself, so how it can be so tough, but you just need to push yourself. Otherwise, I would have relaxed. It is not an emergency. It is not a do or die. Some parents, no. Once there is a mistake somewhere, a crack somewhere, they find it difficult to forgive themselves. Nah. Routines are made for you, and not you made for routines. Another reason, okay, so what you can do for parents, instead of you to have a very rigid routine, you can create time to review your routine every now and then. Make it more flexible. Review it and see, okay, how can I make it more flexible? Are there things that have changed? Have my kids grown to a certain extent? How do I make it more flexible? See how you can make a routine more flexible. And what matters is you make sure that most of the time you are consistent. Sleeps will happen. So you learn to forgive yourself. I beg you in the name of God. Because if you don't learn to forgive yourself, you always think that, oh, I'm failing in my parenting. You know what? And this mindset of I'm failing in my parenting, the mindset will limit you. The mindset will not give you because to parent intentionally, you need confidence. The mindset that you are failing in your parenting will make you take every single advice you see on social media, every single advice you see everywhere. It will make you take it. The mindset that you feel you are failing in your parenting will make you will not even understand the child you have. You will not be able to structure your home to actually meet the needs of the child you have. The mindset that, oh, you are failing in parenting, you will always be random. So you need to just remove that mindset and be confident in your parenting. You have your routine, but sleeps will come once in a while. The next thing is resistance from your kids, especially when you have strong-willed children. Resistance, oh my God, children don't always want to cooperate. Power struggles that lead to inconsistency. Some routines don't match with your children's personality. That is it. Like I shared earlier on, you want your children to read for 1 hour. And your children, maybe you have a sanguine child, you feel, okay, someone said when my child goes to the salon, they are reading. Someone says when my child goes to the park, we are traveling, my child is at the park, or we just go to the park, my child is reading. So because of that, you always put books in your car, put books everywhere. I asked people, is it only through books your child will learn? Let me tell you something I was doing. The first time I heard about that, oh, my child reads when in the car, all of that, I actually took it, I took it. I was also implementing it in the car. I put books in the car, my kids to read and all of that. After a while, when I started, how do I put it? I don't understand. I don't know how to put it. And when I became more aware about parenting, I realized one thing. My children are in the car. Why do I need them to read in the car? Are you kidding me? What about being aware of their environment? I remember one time we traveled from Lagos to Benin. My kids, that was the first time I knew about ant hill. You know, ant hill, height, walks, and all of that. My son was one explaining everything to me. He had seen it on Najo Wide, something, but he had not seen it physically. That was the first time he saw it physically. I remember the road was bad. The road, there was a heavy traffic jam on the road. We had to now pass a certain community. As we were passing, we saw it. It wasn't like, oh, daddy, let me see it. He now had to stop and go and see it. If he was reading, would he have been able to experience that? A lot of, yes, what our children to read, but let's be realistic now. Then you now want your child, because you want your child to fall in love with reading, you want your child to read and read and read and read. Your child is going on the road, he's reading. My kids do that sometimes. I don't force them. Maybe they have a book they are reading, they are not done reading, they put it along. I don't need to force them. But when they are on the road, we are driving, I want them to experience nature. I want them to learn. I remember the first time I talked to my children about logo, branding. It was still, we're in Lagos back then. We're driving along that 7 Up road. They were not like, mommy, I'm seeing different buildings. These buildings, they will have this thing. These buildings, they will have, some buildings, they will have elephants. Some buildings, they will have this thing. Why are the buildings, we're going to church in Daystar then, Oregon. Why do buildings have different things? So I started telling them about companies, how they have logos, how it's branded, colors, and all of that. You know, so then laying that was the first time I talked to them about branding. As a human being, you are a brand. If you know me, know that I don't play with teachable moments. So I had to link it with teachable moment that yes, as a human being, you are a brand. So it simply means that like Coca-Cola, no matter where you see Coca-Cola, for example, Coke, it is the same color. Even if you change the bottle and all of that, it's the same taste and the same color. Even when you change the bottle and all of that, it is the same color and all of that. I started teaching them about branding. What does that mean? The content in you, anywhere you go, you see Coke, you easily know. So the content in you should always be the same. That is why from small, you have to learn to do what is right, so that as you progress through life, your content remains the same. Someone can easily say, this is Coca-Cola now. Even if I'm blind, I will know Coca-Cola. Close my eyes and put Coca-Cola, and cover my eyes and put Coca-Cola in my mouth, it's still Coca-Cola. You will know that, Mirinda comes out, you have Pepsi, you see, no, it's Coca-Cola. You have to be consistent, It was from that I actually taught them all of that. It was from that I actually taught them all of that. So if I was like, okay, read, I may not have opportunity to teach them that. I may not have opportunity for us to talk about that. I may not have even learned about ant hill from them. Even some other things we learned, some what is it called? Activities on the road where people are hawking different things. Mommy, these people are hawking. Are they not at risk of the vehicle hitting them? We talked about this. We talked about safety precaution. It was because, so sometimes some of this, our that's why I say, if you are not confident in your parenting, you are just going to jump out, pick any random advice. You need to be confident in your parenting. So I was talking about resistance from kids. That's another reason why your structure may not be effective. Resistance from kids don't always cooperate, make you feel your routines are not, your kids don't cooperate. So how do you now, your routines, they are not working now, and power struggles lead to inconsistency. You cannot be consistent because some parents at some point you get overwhelmed, you're tired. You just tired, like this child, his own is too much, he's coming with his wahala again, and so we'll let him have his way. Some parents, your routines, some parents, their routines don't match your child's temperament, all of that. So what do? One of the ways to actually solve this power struggle, solve this inconsistency, is to bring your child to create your routine together. It is even when your kids are smaller, what you do is to observe their pattern. Your kids are toddlers. You may not be able to ask them their opinions and create the routine together, but you can at least observe their patterns to understand them. You have children who are naturally calm. I have a parent who said to me that my daughter can take a book and be there. The daughter is 3-4. My daughter can take a book and be there for over 1 hour. She's just looking at pictures. She's smiling. She's making an attempt to pronounce the words. She cannot even read yet, That is a person that's how she is. She's a calm child. It's not easy to find such a child, you know. And because a parent has said that, you will now take that thing, give your child a book. You may even ask the parent, okay, what kind of book is your child keeps your child for 1 hour? The parent will say, is this book pictorial book? You go and buy the book and come and give your child, and you expect your child to stay for 1 hour. Your child will stay for 5 minutes and toss the book away, and you start your child's personality can always come in the way of your routine. So when you are setting routine, you need to understand your child's personality. If your child is the one that is high on distractions, then you know that some activities that you expect them to sit, don't make it long. Make it super short. Just short and quick breaks. Then for the other ones, talking about power struggle, what you need to do, you and your children, you need to sit down and make this routine together. I guarantee you that if you and your kids, you make routine together, you create routine together, they will follow. It was their idea. All you need to do is all the things you want to structure your home, all the areas you want to structure your home, have them written down. After writing them down, you need a why. You are not just going to say, okay, people watch too much television, so now we are going to structure our television. We are going to make television 30 minutes a day. You have to have why. And the why has to benefit your child. Don't forget that. Your child has to be able to understand your why. You know, that is it. So you sit down and create your routine with them. Say in the morning, your child will say, Mommy, we wake up too early. Wake up 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, that's too early. I beg. And you sit down and tell your child, okay. If you say wake up 5 o'clock, it's too early. Now that's one of the things I did with my children. If you say you wake up 5 o'clock, it's too early. Remember, we need to get to school. We need to go to school we need to leave for school by 7:20, right? 5 o'clock, when you wake up, what do? You bathe, you do your chore, you say your prayers, you say your affirmation, and all of that. Let's calculate it. Let's break it down. How long does it take you to bathe? If it takes you, maybe before you wake up, by the time you wake up, you start playing, you start jumping, you start doing everything before you will now agree to bathe. You don't finish bathing till 6 o'clock, which simply means after 6 o'clock, we have to do all that. And so we need to look at it. If you say 5 o'clock is too early for us to wake up, then it simply means that we have to calculate. We are leaving the house 7:20. That is the time we are leaving the house. That is not negotiable. So it simply means that every other thing. So if you can wake up 6 o'clock and you make sure you don't allow yourself to be distracted, you do everything you need to do before 7:20, it's okay. We can wake up 6 o'clock. So, but if it doesn't work, it simply means we are going to 5 o'clock. I'm not telling you to wake up 5 o'clock because I want to punish you. I'm not telling you to wake up 5 o'clock because 5 o'clock is the only time to wake up. There is nothing special about 5 o'clock, waking up 5 a.m. But the thing about 5 a.m. is that we need to be able to leave the house by 7:20, because you need to be in school by 7:30, so that you can drop your bag and settle in class before the assembly starts, so that you are not running, you are not under pressure, you are not sweating. Then you sweat, you start having a body odor already. When you get to school, somebody will tell you, you are smelling like a goat for the boy. You start sweating now. So we need you to get to school in good shape. So what are we going to do about it? So if your child tells you, hey, Mommy, even that 5 o'clock is still much, let's make it 5:30. Okay, we are going to give it a try for 2 days. If you wake up 5:30, you are able to do your chores, prepare, have your breakfast by 7:20. We leave the house good to go. Wake up 5:30. But if by 5:30 you wake up 5:30 and 7:30 we are not done, we are not ready, I wake up my own 5 o'clock and do all my things. But if by 7:20 we are still not ready, it simply means 5 o'clock is not a good time. Is that a deal? You can go further to say, let's write contract. We have a behavior contract in one of, I think it's in the family constitution, or is it the parenting structure guide? We have my family contract. We have a behavior contract. So, okay, let's draw a contract. On this day, Allen agreed to wake up 5:30 on the condition that he makes it 7:20 to school. And we are going to we are going to try this for 2 days. When he's able to meet it, we adopt it. When he's not able to meet it, we go back to 5 o'clock. On the ground that after meeting it for 2 days, he breaks the rule, he's not able to meet it again, we are going to go back to our 5 o'clock. Is that a deal? You sign, your child signs. They love to sign if you have teenagers. So that is it. You bring your child along. Having your child along with you helps with your routine, everything you want to do, even your meal plan. We're talking about meal plan in the academy yesterday. Even your meal plan, when you bring your children along, you carry them, you all sit down to craft your meal plan, it makes it easy for them to follow, even the ones that don't want to eat certain foods. Once you are all together, because then you now talk about the food you eat, the food available and all of that, why they need to eat certain food, why they are not just going to stick to one food all through the week or all through the month. It helps them to follow your meal plan. Okay, we've talked about 5 now, I think, or 6. We've talked about 5. Okay, the 6th one is a very major one for very many parents. Emotional and psychological blocks like guilt, fear of failure, lack of motivation. Guilt especially is one of the reasons some parents don't even have structural routines. I've seen this happen several times with single parents, especially single parents, even parents of one child and single child. There's no structure, no boundaries. The children can just do anything they like. Very many times, single parents, they just are, they feel they want to make up for the other parents. Some parents, because they work, they feel, I'm not always there for my child. I do a lot. I go to work a lot. I did not make my child's events and all of that. They just want to let the child have their way, do anything. See, structure is, you can't take away structure if you want to parent intentionally. You need to sit down, no matter how guilty you feel, no matter the situation, you need to sit down and be able to create, because structure is you empowering your child, is building your child up for the future, teaching responsibility, teaching independence, making your child know that there are ways things are done, so that your child doesn't just jump into the society tomorrow. Because I always say that whether you are deliberately raising your child or not, your child is growing. A time will come, your child will face real life. Your child will face real life. That is one thing. We moved to this place, and I've said it over and over again. I didn't even know that my kids, they were not as tough as I thought they were. I didn't know they were super ajebo. That is why when they come and they complain, what I do, we just problem solve together. I don't even want to say, let me step in. I am not stepping in. You need to learn. I tell them that, see, it's a real life. This is just, we are even happy. We are here. And I'm happy the school you are, because the school is tough. So it's stretching you. You are learning to be tough. The classes are populated. It's giving you competition. So when you are coming from, you think, I'm the best in a particular field because of where you are coming from, because you were just a few. Now you know that you have, you need to stretch yourself. So if you were complacent before because of where you are coming from, now you know that, hey, you need to move away from your comfort zone. So it is structure, is you teaching your child how the real life works. So for very many parents, guilt, fear of, my child will feel unloved. Because of that, even when they have said, okay, our routine is 8:30 we go to bed. Your child doesn't want to go to bed 8:30. They want to go to bed 9:30. Mommy, please, let me finish seeing this movie. Mommy, please. Oh yeah, watch it one more time. You don't want your child to feel unloved. You don't want your child to feel hurt. Are you kidding me? Hey, God. Are you kidding me? See, I said to parents that you are in charge now. You are not in charge forever. The number of years your child will be in charge of themselves is way, 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 way more than the number of years you are in charge of them. And guess what? It is how you take charge of them that will learn how to take charge of themselves. So if you are fearful around, you are fearful, you don't want your child to feel hurt, you want your child to feel loved, you want your child to see. If you raise your child in that bubble, I tell you, when it's time for them to take care of, be in charge of themselves, they are going to crash. You know why? Because soon you are going to release them. They are leaving, and the world will not put them in that bubble. The world, at most, they will be lucky to meet someone they will marry, who will not put them, who will also now continue from where you stopped. But you are just two people in the life of that child. They will meet a lot of people. So when life throws lemons at them, what would they do? Who will protect them? Who will give them the bubble? So for very many parents, they feel guilty or fear. That is it. Now, you must take fear away from your parenting. I've said it over and over again. You must take fear away from your parenting. Fear of your child will not love you, or your child will not feel loved, or your child will not be okay, or your child will be unhappy, your child will be depressed. If your child doesn't learn to be unhappy over your no now, how will they learn? If your child doesn't learn to take your no now, like if they don't learn to deal with the unhappiness that comes from your no now, how will they learn to deal with the unhappiness that comes from a major no tomorrow? When they apply for a job, they don't get it. When they start a business and the business doesn't go well, when they are going to say, oh, I like this girl, I want to marry the girl says no, I'm not going. How will they now learn to deal with the unhappiness that comes from that no? You seem to forget that you are preparing them. Create your structure, create it, communicate it, your routines, communicate it. Okay, TV time over 8 p.m. It is 8 p.m. Why? Because you need to relax your eyes. You don't need to stress your eyes again before you go to bed. So even if you are watching your favorite movie, it's halfway, you are going to come back another day to watch it. It is a no. It's time to lock up, and it is time. 8 p.m. Your alarm rings, shuts down. It is not even negotiable. Many times I'm taking a nap and I see my children, because they know that TV off time is 5:30 or 5 o'clock or something like that. I think it's 5 o'clock, Saturdays and Sundays, because they have to do other things. So it's up to them. If they want to watch TV early, they can do a lot of the things they need to do, finish everything they want to finish, and then they have enough time to watch TV. So by the time TV is done, TV time is over, I want them to play. Like my son likes playing football. He has children from the other side that comes to play football with him. They let out their energies and all of that. Last week I was sleeping. So it was their football that woke me up. Then I checked the time, it was past 5. I said, oh, these children, they have turned on television. I did not need to be there. Even when I am not at home, I am confident that they are doing what they are supposed to be doing. I see parents complain about phone. My children are always on my phone. They will take my phone. Nah, not my children. I did not have to yell or beat or do anything for them not to touch my phone. They have a phone. I'm using my phone for this video. They have their phone. Their phone has a structure. And once is that, I did not have to. Do I have strong-willed? Oh my God, yes. I have children who are strong-willed. Like my daughter, for example, she wants what she wants most of the time. But even at that, and then, because we have done certain things consistently, they know where to draw the boundary. They know that you can't come to my phone without asking me. It's not possible. Even this phone that is supposed to be their phone, they have their classmate, they call her, they do all of that. You can't touch the phone without asking. You can't just go and take the phone. You have time, they chat with their friends. Their friends back in Lagos. They have time, they communicate, they call and all of that. My daughter, I even had to talk to her friend. Hey, Omorisola, you can't call me anytime. You can't just call me randomly. This is the time you can call me. You can call me weekends, so and so time. That is the time. So they always plan, okay, this weekend we are going to talk. I'll call you this weekend. Or you call me once it's 4 o'clock. We are going to be online this weekend. They always plan it, So even when I'm not at home, I know that they still will not go there and do it. They have other things they can do. So it's not about you. Don't feel guilty. As long as what you are doing, the thing you are setting in place is not going to hurt your child. It is not going to hurt your child. Like there are hurts or pains that are for maturity. When your child experiences that pain, it helps your child to mature. Don't take that pain away from your child. For example, the pain of taking a no. Many people, we don't like to take a no. But the truth is, life gives a lot of no's. Now, if you do not learn for your child to take a no, now, in the future, what happens when no's are flying here and there? What happens? They are going to be crushed. They are going to be broken. So no, learn now for your child to take a no. So please remove those psychological blocks. Remove them already. Fear of, oh, you don't want your child to feel bad. You don't want your child to feel hurt. You want your child to feel loved. Who told you your child doesn't feel loved when you say no, no more television? Who told you your child doesn't feel loved when you say no more snacks? Your child will always only get upset. But guess what? They are going to go over it, get over it, and they are going to realize that, remember, you must talk to them about your why. They are going to get over it, and they are going to realize that it is for their good. When you can be consistent, people around you are consistent, they are just going to see it as a way of life. That is it. That is it. My children, for example, they come back from school, they tell me, oh, mommy, very many children, they will bring food, they will bring a lot of snacks, they will bring a lot of money to school. All the time, they keep telling me. Sometimes I don't know what to say about it. I'll just tell every home, people have different values. I'm not judging their parents. I'm not saying their parents are not doing well or they are doing well. Every home has different values. Everyone in life has a vision, has a destination. And remember, like I always tell them, that the Bible says, train up your child in the way he should go. So the parents, maybe that is why how God wants the parent to train them in the way they should go. You see me praying every day for God to give me wisdom, to train you. It is because there's a way you should go, and God wants me to train you that way. And that way does not include giving you have food, you eat breakfast, you take food to school. So why will you now you take snack? You will still take a lot of snacks and a lot of money. Excuse you, as in, why is all no? And then they come back from school and say, mommy, this is my friend today. See what she was saying. She was just careless with her, and this person, rather, not my friend. They were just careless with their tongue. They say X, Y, Z. I said, okay, is it making sense to you now? It's making sense to you because maybe the parents are not as aware as I am. That is why they can even expose them to things that will have them learn certain things. So you see it, So no, I will not feel guilty. No way. It is for their good. So every time I take opportunity to teach them how it is for their good, and it helps a lot. So the last time is for parents, you don't have a system for tracking or adjusting routines. Many parents, you don't review, you have your routines, you don't review, you don't even implement. So if you don't implement, how will you review? So even when you implement, you don't review, because one of the things that happens to humans, we have a way of noticing negative more than the positive. So it may be just one small negative, you just magnify. You forget all the very many positive that you have. So one of the things you want to do as a parent, always create time to review. Review your day with your children. Review how your routine has been. Then you review your routine, you will notice, okay, what has been a challenge so far? Why have I not been able to be consistent? Things like that. It will help you a great deal. To create your routine in such a manner that you'll be more consistent, and it will be more effective. Thank you so much for joining today. And this is the Parenting with Enimien Oruebor, brought to you by the Visionary Parents Academy. The Visionary Parents Academy is an academy where parents are empowered with knowledge and skill to parent with confidence, to parent the child they have. Parents are empowered. They know exactly what to do. They parent with confidence. They don't go and start picking random information when you're in the Visionary Parents Academy, because you are empowered with the skills and information. So you want to join us. We are still open for 2025, only that we are closing anytime from now, because by the end of March, we are closed for 2025 registration. It's a yearly academy. So you register and you join us for the remaining part of the year. So if you're asking, okay, can I still join? Of course you can still join, because we have our resource bank where you can still get every single information, every single class we have held this year. You can still hold your classes. You can still take, we have a resource bank where you can still take the classes, and you come to the community where we can all literally hold you by your hands and grow together. You ask your questions, you share your challenges, you just You are with us in the community. It is vibrant, it is interesting, and every month we have one challenge or the other. The idea of the challenge is actually to keep you on your toes. Last month was becoming an emotionally intelligent parent. It was actionable ideas every day. And this month is creating your family system, your family structure, so that your family can run even when you are not at home. Your kids can be in, your kids when they get to teenagers or preteens, you don't have to be at home. They can function. They can function independently with or without you. So that's what we are doing today. They want to build healthy habits. This month is for creating your family system. So you want to send a message, leave a message on how you can join us, and I or any of the admins, any of the coaches will definitely give you the information to join us. Thank you so much today, and see you next week. Hopefully on Friday you come here, you see a video, recorded video on Friday, and on Monday also you will still see some videos from my kids on Mondays, and on Wednesday we'll come here live for the next topic on our challenge for the month. Bye bye. Do well to share, subscribe, and invite people to this community. Don't fail to do that. But especially if you're not in the Visionary Parent Academy, one of the things you can do for us is actually to invite people to at least watch, join our channels, so that they too can learn, they too can become empowered in parenting. Thank you. Bye bye. Jesus Christ.